What is normal in your country but seems weird to the rest of the world? Golden Gay Time. Okay. You're going to have to explain. It is an ice cream in Australia. Called Golden Gay Time as in Golden Happy Time. It is pretty delish. Also on their packaging, it says, it's hard to have a gay time by yourself. And 4 delicious chances to have a gay time. Calling a traffic light a robot. South Africa. Domo arigato Mr. Roboto. Men holding hands in public as a display of friendship is normal in Afghanistan but super weird in the West. I think it's normal in most of the Middle East and India. Because in Western countries it's seen as a romantic gesture. Putting cable ties, branches, fake eyes etc. on helmets. Buckets and hats in springtime to scare away the birds. Magpies are vicious bastards. Bribing them with fairy bread works sometimes. I'd say Aussie magpies are a whole different breed than the European ones. Putting broken glass bottles on the walls around your house so burglars can't jump it and rob you. I moved to Canada and they don't even have walls around the houses. All of Latin America. Yeah, I'm Canadian. And no one would even lock their doors when I was growing up in a Vancouver suburb. They do this in parts of the UK. The cracks that are just wide enough to be able to see in and out of public restroom stalls. United States. I've heard it's thought of as weird since many other countries enjoy the luxury of privacy. My senior year of high school was the year the school finally installed doors on the bathroom stalls. It was 2007. How else would you know if the stall is occupied though? Seriously though. As a European having to visit the US twice a year, pooping in the US is stressful. One time in college I was taking a shit and some guy was staring at me through the crack. And I asked him what's up and he was like, I'll pay you $100 to jerk off and let me watch. I wish we didn't have those cracks now. Eating with our hands. In 1969, the same year the man landed on the moon. Miss Gloria Diaz coveted the Philippines' first Miss Universe crown. During the preliminary Q&A, she was asked, "Is it true that you Filipinos use your hand when you eat?" To which she replied, "Why? Do you use your feet?" and went her way to winning the crown. This isn't limited to the Philippines. People, especially those of Indian descent, eat with their hands in Malaysia, and it's also extremely common in Saudi Arabia as well. My sister works in the US and she'd sometimes relay funny stories while working abroad. She mentioned going to a seafood restaurant and she and her coworkers ordered shrimp. Obviously, as a Filipino, she started removing the shrimp's skin and head with her hands. Her American coworkers started wondering why the shrimp still had their shell skins and they needed some tool to remove it. That surprised me as well since I thought people only required that for lobsters. Never realized people also needed these things for shrimp. Vegemite. Give me a Vegemite sandwich. It's delicious honestly. Going into the sauna naked while sharing the sauna with the other sex. When I was 13 I went on an exchange program to Finland to stay with a family there. First night get invited to join the family in the sauna. That was an eye-opening experience. How else do you use a sauna? Whole restaurants cheering when a plate or glass is smashed. UK. Once was in a Canadian bar restaurant on holiday and a waiter dropped a tray of glasses. The local looked horrified when I was out of my seat screaming, "Way!" Am Canadian. Would be horrified, haha. Really? I assumed that was a universal thing. Am British, so it might be. This is sometimes done in the US. Or at least in Texas. Usually it's fellow servers who start the applause. Either to break the tension or bust the balls of the klutz who dropped something. Tax not included in advertised price. Yeah, I find this so weird. Bagged milk. I know it's normal in some places but not here in the UK. Interestingly, businesses must have caught up with it, as every single Costa I've been to has milk in bags. Drinking beer before 12 o'clock. And seeing it as part of the culture. My Aussie flatmate always used to say, 1 before 10 or 10 before 1. UK 2. No judgment. Having a VBLONGNECK. At 20 to 8 in the fricking morning. Leaving your baby alone outside for their nap. Even if it rains or snows. This is also the normal thing to do in Denmark. All midday naps are outside in a pram, same if you're at a cafe. It's quite normal to leave your child outside in their pram, as long as you can see them. Is this Sparta? We have matrimonial ads in newspapers and sites to find grooms and brides, which I think don't happen in Western countries, and they find it strange. The ads are mostly published by parents. It's like Tinder supervised by parents. We have that in Germany. It's not for marriage, especially not arranged marriage, but more for general dating. It's old people Tinder. Deep-fried Mars bar. And Oreos. And cheesecake. And butter. And beer. And Snickers. Putting chips in our burgers. I'm referring to the British version, fries in America but fatter. I know it isn't the same. But we are occasionally known to line up French fries in our burgers here too. Sprinkles on buttered bread is made by fairies and is perfect for kids' parties. And anything negative said about said treat is sacrilegious. Hagelslag is still my favorite childhood school vacation memory. In the Netherlands we call this breakfast. Cheese curds and gravy over fries. Canada isn't real. A magical land covered in Christmas where everyone is nice and syrup literally falls from the trees. Like that's a real place. Nobody eats cheese curds. Fries and gravy. Poutine is freaking majestic. I still can't understand why it isn't bigger in the US. Especially the Midwest where cheese curds are a big thing. In my country you bike everywhere. Cars aren't used much. For longer distances you mostly use train and public transport. Also being 6 foot is normal. Yeah. Or capital city has more bikes than people living there, like WTF. Having spaghetti in McDonald's. Is this a thing only in the Philippines?